Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow. Brainspotting is like a psychotherapy model where basically you can hold open certain parts of your brain based upon the relevant eye positions at the time. Basically, like, okay, so if this is like your spinal cord, this is the reptilian brain, right? The animal brain.
Okay.
And then around that is the limbic system, which is the emotional brain.
Okay.
And then up here is the neocortex, which is all of the stuff that gives you the higher level functioning math and spatial and being able to maneuver and run your businesses and so on, right? But all of the more or less like trauma and so on is typically held in these lower parts, right? So when it gets stuck in there, right? Because trauma is not necessarily what happens to us. It's what happens in us as a result of what happens to us, right? You get a basketball injury, it's traumatic, but then it physically heals. However, in that time period, you're guarding it and so on. And now all of a sudden, anytime you kind of go this way, automatically you start to react, right? So you're muscle guarding it or whatever, you cannot do things. That's actually the trauma, right? The wound that is unhealed, but it's invisible.
Got it.
So where that's typically held is in this lower part of the brain.
Okay.
So with brain spotting, what happens is your eyes are part of your brain. They initially came out of your brain and then they connect kind of back in. So there's a relevant eye position that holds the file of that where that trauma is held open.
Really?
So, yeah. So when you
show me the eye position. What's your eye position?
There's certain like setups that you would do in order to kind of go in there. Yeah. So you basically go in through your body and then you find the eye position.
When you say eye position, it's not just like I'm going to look left,
like where you're looking,
or right. That's different.
It is.
Okay.
It actually is because what happens is you would notice too, like as you're telling me certain stories, you're moving into an emotional space of some sort. Your eyes are going somewhere.
Got it.
You kind of, like when you get there and you kind of like gazing outer space, and then you kind of come back, and it's like, oh, that's actually the eye position.
Oh, interesting.
So when you stay on it, it holds that open, and you can start to process everything. However, if there's a lot of activation, if it's like stuff is triggering stuff, it's very hard to stay there because it's too dysregulating for we want to get out. So I'm actually certified in brain spotting, but I have brain spotting therapists that help me because no matter how much I know, it's still the other person. You need their attunement. You need them to hold space to guide us through it because otherwise then I have to be cognizant of what I'm doing.
Are they using this with professional? Because when you mentioned the injury side, right? Like that's the key. A lot of times is that that brain, muscle, brain,
it's unconscious
whatever.
And it's stuck.
Yeah, and then it leads to future injury because people, right? And so my friend that owns physiotherapy, PT, is always talking about a lot of the issues with rehab is not necessarily the muscle function or the joint function. It's the brain talking to that area saying, gotta let it go.
It's the software programming in there got adjusted and now you have a bug in the system. Yeah. And that bug just runs until it's unbugged, debugged. Yeah. Right. So that's athletics especially. Yeah. I mean, you get an injury. So I'll give you a good example on this one. So in 2019, I broke my back, right? I have really an idea. I'm going to buy a one-wheel motorized skateboard, practice my foiling. I eat it, fall on my back, boom, burst fracture in my vertebrae. There's a piece like right on my spinal cord.
I'm sorry I'm smiling or laughing. It's just
ridiculous, right?
What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know.
I see those guys. I'm like, that looks crazy.
I thought it was amazing. That's why I looked at your bike. I was like, yeah. And then it's like, nah. But anyway, so I was basically, I could not move, right? I was in 9 or 10 out of 10 pain. I'm in rehab hospital trying to figure out can I even go to the bathroom? Not just go to the bathroom, but like go to the bathroom. And I didn't want to wear the brace because the brace was super uncomfortable to me. At rehab hospital, you have to do the PT and the OT, no matter how painful it is, or you got to go home. Okay. So I was like, just want to go. I don't want to do it, but I want to stay here because it's kind of comfortable. When I was doing the PT, I remember I was giving them a hard time about the brace. And the PT said, look, you have to wear this brace. I said, why? She said, you see the kid over there? And there was a 21-year-old kid that was like the paraplegic from the waist down, could not move. And he had this rope tied to his legs. And he was lifting the rope to lift his leg to move it. That's what they were teaching him, how to wrap a rope around your leg and move it so you could move somewhere. She goes, he has the same injury as you. And if you move in the wrong direction, especially without this brace, that's going to be you. And I went, give me the damn brace. Put this brace on. And everything for, I don't know, almost I mean, especially in the first number of months, was no bending, lifting, or twisting. No BLT. Do not bend, lift, or twist, because if you do that, you could sever your spinal cord.
Damn.
And so everything was like, you roll on your side, you do this hot dog maneuver. Everything was like, do not move. But guess what happens a year after that?
Yeah.
You know, the thing is basically healed up.
Yeah.
But next thing you know, I start to reach over for a pen, and it's like, you know, I mean, it's just automatic. And that kind of what's going on in the nervous system, which is like, is like preempting everything, right?
Yeah,
we ain't taking another injury. So it's like, can't even move.
Is it you just tense up, or is there pain when you do it, when you do that?
Could be either or both. You know what I mean? It's just a reaction a lot of times, right? Like a lot of times you wouldn't even think about it. So in the process of actually healing up this back and getting back into the flexibility and the strength needed, it's not just PT. You know what I mean? The physical part of it is actually pretty good. It's whatever is going on, not even mentally, but like unconsciously in the nervous system, right? So yeah, that's where I had to go in and really start to look at a lot of different ways to do this, because otherwise I can't get any flexibility and mobility back properly. If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.